Welcome to Transformational Vedic Astrology. My name is Michael Mastro, and today we're going to be talking about the birth chart for Katherine Johnson, who was a very famous mathematician for NASA. And there's a whole movie that was actually made about her called Hidden Figures. I recommend it highly. So, um, if you look to the eastern horizon when she was born, would see the constellation associated with Libra rising at 12 degrees. Any planets that are close to that most effective point of every house have a strong impact in her chart. And so we're going to first look at how the planets are operating, and then we'll see when they were operating in her life and what could be done to strengthen the chart. So first, we look for the multicona signs, and whatever house they fall in, and that is what she is working on in this lifetime. So the multicona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. These numbers refer to the signs. And so, for example, Venus rules Taurus and Libra, but it is most closely aligned with Libra. So Libra becomes the multicona sign, not Taurus, for Venus. And then, another example would be Mars. Mars rules Scorpio, and it also rules Aries. So the Multicona sign, it's mostly closely aligned with, is Aries. So let's go through these houses, and we'll see each of these houses represents some aspect of our life. So you see the seventh sign of Libra, ruled by Venus in the first house. She's working on what she came here to do, and she's also working on longevity and good health. And then you see the ninth sign of Sagittarius in this third house. The third house has to do with success, and she was very successful. Then you see the 11th sign of Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, in the fifth house. Fifth house has to do with higher education, teaching, creativity, investments, children. Then you see she's working on, you see the first sign of Aries in the house of partnerships. So working on relationships and partnerships. And then she's working on the fourth sign of Cancer, ruled by Moon, in the house of career. And then you see the fifth sign of Leo in the house of income and friendships and connections. And then you see the sixth sign of Virgo in the house of spiritual growth and looking into the hidden parts of our mind, subconscious. So these are the main things she's working on. Now, where a lot of people feel that Mars is always malefic and Saturn's always malefic, Sun is always malefic. But people were coming to me for years, and they'll be in a Sun period and they're doing really well, or a Mars period, they're really doing well. So it's really based on where the multicona signs are. If they're in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th, the Dustana houses, the challenging houses, then they can be malefic. So here you see the 6th sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury, in the 12th house. So for the sign of Libra, Mercury, Rahu, and Ketu are the malefics. Now, that does not mean they always cause harm. Only when they are by transit, by aspect or conjunction, within 5 degrees of another planet or the most effective point of every house. So, with all that said, let's go through and see how the planets are operating. So you have Sun, very strong and well placed, close to the most effective point, and it is ruling the house of income and friendships. So it says, and it's in its own house, so that it even makes it stronger. It's within 5 degrees of the most effective point of 12 degrees. So it gives her, she got good support from father and government. And she had her income actually comes from the government, for working for NASA. It gave her really strong uh, leadership and organizational skills. Then we see Moon. Moon is ruling the house of career, and it's placed in the house of partnerships and mentors. So her career came through her strong mental abilities and through her mentors and partnerships with colleagues. Mars is at 13 degrees, also close to the most effective point, also strong and well placed. She actually has like 5 strong and well placed planets. Pretty rare. It's a great chart, actually. So here, Mars is ruling this house of partnerships again. Her success was through her good relationships with her teachers or mentors, and the people, her colleagues in the workplace. She had a lot of respect at a time when most black women were not given opportunities that she was given, and if they were in the very background. And that's part of the movie. It shows that she was a part of a small group of black women who were doing all the the mathematics for the trajectories, and the men were taking the credit for it. But she spoke up. She was very courageous, and her colleagues and her superiors had a lot of respect for her. Mercury's at 14 degrees. Again, it's the functional malefic. It gave her spiritual growth through her analytical abilities, and you see it's in the income house. So she gained income through her mathematical, analytical abilities. They called her basically a computer with a skirt. And then when everything was done by hand, mathematics, the formulas, and then when the computers came along, she actually programmed the first computer at NASA. Jupiter is at 16 degrees, also strong and well placed. It is ruling the house of success, and it's placed in the house of higher education. So she got success through her higher education and her ability to teach others. She was a teacher for many years of her life. And this Jupiter is also related to children. Her children would have done well, and husband. Now, Venus is at 16 degrees, close to the most effective planet, strong and well placed. Gave her a very strong life purpose to teach others and have good health and longevity. Passed away at 101 years old. Saturn also represents longevity. It's a little bit weak. It's in old age. It gave her ability, hard work skills to work very hard in her work. She worked 16 hours a day, and it is ruling the house of education, higher education. So she got into colleges that most black women couldn't. Got into doctorate programs that other black women were not allowed in because of her hard work and her brilliant abilities. And so, yeah, so it's in this house of career. So her career was through her higher education and hard work. Rahu and Ketu at 26 degrees. They're not close to the most effective point. And it gave desire for recognition, which she got like 20 different awards. Even Obama gave her a Medal of Freedom award in recent years, and gave her strong intuition into solving problems, research into these trajectories of the NASA orbiting like John Glenn when he landed on the moon, and then when the rocket came back, so that it would come into the sea and not create an issue where he would die. So she was in charge of all of those, landing on the moon and landing back in the ocean. So yeah, Ray, amazing chart. And so what could we do to strengthen this chart? Well, so most of her planets, I think 5 or 6 of her planets are already strong and well placed. Saturn could be some strengthening. Any planet that's more than 25 degrees is said to be in old age and cannot protect or promote its own significations. So Saturn, you could strengthen with a blue sapphire, or helping others, and she was already doing that. And then also a kavash, which would be a locket containing the Devata yantra for Saturn. So the other thing she could do is transform the other planets, the malefic planets. So Mercury, you transform by helping children, and she was a teacher for children, helping children. Rahu, helping, she did a lot of charity work. K2, helping spiritual organizations. She belonged to the same church for over 60 years. Very spiritual person as well. And so, yeah, she actually was doing most of the remedies anyway. So that's why she had such a, great success in her life. Compared to a lot of people in her situation, maybe had strong mental abilities, but because of her color of her skin, and being a woman, was denied those possibilities. So thank you for listening. Um, this is Michael Mastro with Transformational Vedic Astrology. If you want a reading, you can see this method of reading is very accurate. You can go to vastucreations.com under services and get a reading. Or you can go to learn Transformation Vedic Astrology at American Institute of Vastu.com. Thank you again for listening.